right, welcome to another edition of the Popcast Podcast. I'm John Croce from ActionFigureKing.com, and this is my co-host.
This is Esteban from I Am Esteban TV.
Today we're going to talk about the big announcements from Marvel about their plans for their movie franchises coming over like the next 4 or 5 years. Seems like
the next decade.
Yeah, I think they're planning on taking over the world.
That's what I got basically. They were like releasing so many movies when I saw that big list.
Yes.
I'm like, who does this? Who plans like 10 years?
So let's get right into it. I think they got two, double strategy here. One is to just kind of let people know what they're doing, and the other part is to let these companies like Sony, who has Spider-Man, and whoever it is that's doing the Fantastic Four, know that.
Fox. I think Fox has Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I think they're trying to just scare the crap out of them because, I say it all the time. There's only so many dollars in everybody's pockets, and I think that I think part of their strategy is just to kind of get these guys shaking in their shoes to realize, between all these Marvel movies and DC's plans with Justice League and all their movies, that how much room is there left for these other companies to do films?
Yeah, I know. They're definitely saturating the market, I feel.
Yeah.
With all these superhero movies.
What's really interesting, too, when you go so far out, I mean, you never saw this in the past, but
I've never seen something like this ever, to be honest, ever.
Yeah, and especially when you take a movie like the Avengers, which has such a big ensemble cast, it really is kind of putting yourself out there because I know there's contracts and stuff, and I'm sure they don't make announcements until they know that the contracts are finalized. But what's to say, somebody doesn't get killed or they die or they get maimed or, how do you know your main actors are going to be alive in 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, that is true. That is very scary. 'Cause I know that happened with the Hunger Games with I forget the guy's name, the actor.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that. I was thinking of the Fast and the Furious, but
that
was
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was mostly done, and I assume they're writing his death into the script somehow now.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm honestly I'm more intrigued about the Hunger Games one. I forget the guy's name. Phil, is his name Phil?
I honestly have not seen those. Proudly say I have not seen those films.
No, the actor. Yeah,
I'm not even sure. I just know that Jennifer Lawrence is in them.
Oh, I forget the guy's name. That he went. I don't know. He died on an overdose in the city and stuff. Like it was on the news and everything.
Oh, that could be so many people, but
that's true. But his character, I'm sad to say, I seen that Hunger Games movie, so I know what it's about. But his character is really part of the movie. It wasn't like a side character, so I don't know how they're gonna play his character in the next one. But anyway,
and I mean that's what I'm getting at. I mean, this is a big cast they're dealing with here, and I mean, I guess if worse comes to worse, you just replace the actor. What are you gonna do? You have to move forward.
But at the same time, too, I feel with the superhero genre, every character has died at some point in the comic book world.
Right.
So I think they can use that death to justify it.
Right.
Because I know that's what's happening with Chris Evans, that his contract is supposed to be up soon, and he said he doesn't want to act anymore, so he wants to be a director.
Yeah.
So that's right away. I could tell that they're gonna probably go with that. The story arc: Captain America dies, and then Winter Soldier, or even the new story arc right now that Sam Falcon becomes Captain America.
Right.
So there's different ways, I guess, to get out of it.
Yeah. I'm so glad that I'm not involved in Hollywood because I would imagine that there are so many games that have to be played, especially at these high levels, where you have to wonder, is he really genuinely thinking I'm out, or is this just a way to leverage more money? Because I know, there's so many stories going around about how a lot of these other actors are pissed off about the money that Robert Downey Jr. is getting.
Oh, yeah. I heard,
versus what they're being paid.
Yeah, I heard that too, so...
I mean, it's funny because Robert Downey Jr. was done. I mean, his career was over.
Yeah, I know. He got so lucky getting with this part because it's like definitely resurrected his career.
And I do understand it from their point too. I mean, because now whenever you see Robert Downey Jr., whether it's him or whether it's our
Tony
expectations.
Stark.
But he's always, he's just Tony Stark. He's always that same kind of sarcastic, you know what I mean? Like quick-witted. And this is why I really always prefer unknowns, especially with my superhero material, because you go into it with no expectations. Unfortunately, they always hire stars because they want to fill those seats.
Yeah. But for me, I'm kind of opposite. I'd rather get someone good. I don't care if they're a star or non-star. As long as the actor does the character well, that's fine by me.
I just think there's plenty of talent out there, unknown talent that can do as good a job, if not better a job, as a celebrity. I think a celebrity brings a lot of baggage with them. But anyway, so the announcements.
I think they all do.
Well, yeah, I think when you're hungry, think
about if you got an unknown actor to play Tony Stark's.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he would have been just as famous as Robert Downey Jr. Because you even said it yourself that Robert Downey Jr. was he was done before he got this cast.
Well, right.
Nobody cared for him.
Right.
So basically, he was kind of an unknown, Yeah,
but Downey kind of always had issues. I mean, he had alcohol and substance abuse problems, and he always kind of brought a lot of. I mean, he seems like a good guy, but
who doesn't? I feel like half of Hollywood has drug issues. So
well, yeah. I mean, it's
even unknowns. I feel
there's a lot of pressure, right? You gotta stay looking a certain way. You have to be on the ball, and yeah, I mean, it's a tough gig. That's why, again, I'm glad I'm not involved with it. I would even hate to be the director on this film, dealing with all these different personalities and stuff. And then dealing with
I can imagine.
The corporate side of it and all those guys with the money and stuff. I mean, it must just be a nightmare, especially when you're planning something. We've talked about this with crossovers in comics. I mean, it must be even that much more complex when you're dealing with movies now, right? So they're talking about they're going to do Civil War with Captain America for 2016.
Yeah.
Have they announced? I would assume that Iron Man's got to be in that film in some capacity.
Yes, they announced that he's going to be. I think he signed a contract, or I don't know, but I know they announced it that he's going to be in Captain America 3.
Okay, because you can't do Civil War without Iron Man.
Yeah,
I mean that's the whole story is about this the differences between Iron Man's philosophy versus Captain America.
Yeah, I know there's a clip floating out online that they're chopping wood and they're talking.
Okay.
And I think I don't know. I've seen the clip. I don't know what movie it's supposed to be for. Maybe it's supposed to be Avengers or Captain America 3.
Right.
And I could because someone was filming it in the theater.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of quality.
Well, I mean, this is, So they've got this cast now that they're using across all these films. So, yeah, I'm sure when they're shooting, it becomes a little confusing for them, too. Like, wait, what movie are we shooting? No, we're shooting Captain America, we're shooting Avengers, we're shooting Iron Man.
Yeah, I know.
So, and then let's just spit these out. So then there's Doctor Strange for November 2016, Guardians of the Galaxy sequel for May 2017.
Yeah, I know. I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, that should. I mean, that's going to have a lot of people, running in to see it because that was the big film this year.
Yeah.
And then they're going to push out another Thor sequel for July 2017. Black Panther finally is going to get his due.
I know. There's huge speculation for that guy, and they confirmed it. Obviously he got his own movie, and I feel he's going to be in the Avengers movie, the new one coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to tie him to the Avengers because even though he I think initially he might have been introduced in the Fantastic Four universe, but we know that that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
His mainstay is being an Avenger, so yeah, it totally makes sense to work him in there somehow.
Yeah, because I know from the trailers Captain America's shield breaks.
Right.
And from the comic book story arcs that Captain America ends up going to Black Panther in Africa to fix his shield. Mm-hmm. So...
Right, because is it the vibranium?
Yeah.
Which has to do with, I'm really hoping that they're going to have Claw. That's kind of Black Panther's main nemesis.
Yeah, I think they already... I think during the trailer they saw they already cast somebody to play Claw, and he was in the trailer for the new Avengers movie.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I mean...
So Claw is going to be in the Avengers movie.
Yeah, that's the logical way to go.
So if he's in the movie, obviously... Black Panther's going to be in the movie,
Right. Yeah. So then they got Captain Marvel for July 2018.
Yeah, I know.
Which
Jesus.
now they're saying it's going to be the female Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Miss Marvel.
Right. And then I guess the big one is Avengers, which would be the third film, right? But they're calling it Infinity War. Mm-hmm. And they're going to do it in two parts. First part in May 2018, second part in May 2019. And if you haven't seen it, look for the trailer for that one because, I think you're right. We talked about this. I think they've taken elements from all different films and put it together. But I think this is actually a Marvel product.
Because I saw the trailer too. Like I said, somebody filming with their phone in a theater somewhere.
Exactly. Yep.
It was that kind of quality.
But the crowd goes nuts.
Yeah. So I mean, I saw the trailer and I saw that I was able to pick out parts. Oh yeah, that was in Trust and Trust movie. That was the Guardians of the Galaxy clip, But the fact that they put the dates in there, the same dates that Marvel announced, says to me that this is truly, this was distributed by Marvel. Yeah, I mean, they probably took some clips from movies in here, distributed by Marvel, because I really doubt they're filming Infinity War already,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was confused about. I mean, they're talking about a movie that's coming out in 2019 and they're showing footage, but obviously it's not. I mean, what gets the crowd is towards the end of the trailer when you see the fist coming around and then you realize it's the Infinity Gauntlet and they just go nuts, and then you see Thanos behind it and they go nuts again, and then boom, it says Infinity War, they go nuts, and then it comes up with part 1 and everybody kind of lets out this low gasp like, wait a minute, and then they show part 2 and it's just everybody goes nuts, man. It's worth seeing it just to hear the crowd's reaction to what they're showing.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm guessing probably Infinity War and Guardians of the Galaxy are going to be in that movie too.
I would assume, right, because we've seen the villain already at the end of or somewhere. Yeah, he was somewhere worked into the Guardians film. So there's got to be a connection there. And then the last one is for the Inhumans, which is the end of 2018. Now, the Inhumans also being part of the Fantastic Four universe, but clearly Marvel's extracted them from that contract, and they're going to do this independently, which is going to be interesting because, I mean, they did it with Guardians. They got great success with Guardians, so they could do the same thing with the Inhumans.
But my thing is, though, I think they're replacing the X-Men, the mutants, with the Inhumans.
What do you mean replacing?
Like, like for example, in the Civil War, the mutants they take a big role.
I see.
The X-Men, they're part of the Avengers universe in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
But since they don't have obviously that contract, they don't have the X-Men, so I feel they're replacing the X-Men with the Inhumans.
Okay.
Because they're kind of like the same, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, these
same fold.
Yeah, these are superpowered beings who moved or they reside on the dark side of the moon. They each have their unique powers.
So they're kind of like mutants in a way, I guess.
Right.
So I feel that's what they're doing with Inhumans, replacing the X-Men.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible, but I give them credit because they're really building a lot of hype. They're really taking the momentum that they've got with the Avengers and saying, hey, we're going to give you everything we can. I mean, we can only imagine what they would do if they had all these properties under one roof.
Well, I can imagine, especially with Spider-Man. I know Spider-Man's definitely hurting right now because Spider-Man's, again, he was a big part of the Civil War movie, film, and the Avengers, and, it's tough not having Spider-Man,
Yeah. I think, but for people outside of the industry, there's such a big group of Avengers that it's enough characters for them to kind of sit on. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
I think everyone's an Avenger in the comic book world
at some point, right?
Yeah. You got like the West Coast Avengers and the Secret Avengers and all these crazy different groups.
I've got hundreds and hundreds of issues of the Avengers, and like every 125 issues, they'll have that cover where who will answer the call, like the new group of Avengers.
Exactly.
At one point, Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman were part of the Avengers, and it's like, wait a minute, what happens to the Fantastic Four now?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I would expect that if they had everything under one umbrella, it would all be phenomenal. But who knows? Maybe not. Maybe Spider-Man would be, lame. I can't imagine their own company, the parent company, doing a bad job with it. But you never know.
I don't know. I feel like Spider-Man always gets a bad rap. I feel like I liked Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, even though a lot of people don't like it. I thought it was pretty decent.
I know a lot of people who actually liked initially. They didn't really like the sequels. I think the most recent one with Electro, I think, wasn't well received. But when I finally saw it, I wasn't disappointed.
I wasn't disappointed. Like I felt it was good.
Yeah.
You know, but not like, oh my god. And, you know, but I felt like it was a good Spider-Man movie. You know, not everything could be blockbuster movies, you know.
Right, exactly. But I think they did a good job with it. But all right, so getting back to this, so the real big one here was the Avengers, because they've laid out this plan. We know now we're going to get not just a third, but a third and a fourth Avengers film. And during S.H.I.E.L.D. and obviously even before S.H.I.E.L.D., they aired
leaked.
the
Age of Hydra.
Right, the Age of Ultron trailer. So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, it's a good trailer. They give you.
Oh, it's amazing! I loved it.
It's definitely not a teaser trailer. I mean, they're telling you what the film's about.
Actual clips and everything. And you got to see the infamous Hulkbuster finally.
I think a lot of people are excited about that. You know, there's going to be some toys coming out revolving around the Hulkbuster.
Not even. I remember the trailer got leaked, and the next day, people are already asking for the original Hulkbuster from the Marvel Legends line.
Yep, I've got that one.
Oh my god, you're so lucky. Yeah, people are asking like $120, $150 for that now. When normally it was like $70, $80.
It's crazy because that thing is a block of plastic. I mean, in the world of Legends, there was so much plastic in that. And I think when that one came out, they were still really reasonably priced. I think they were only like $9.99.
Oh my god!
I gotta check. I gotta check if I got one or two of them.
Oh my god! I definitely envy you. I was dying to get. I tried getting one like a year ago. I bought one off of Amazon.
Yeah.
And I probably talked about the story a lot, but then I was getting shipped, and then Amazon sent me an email that it was broken, so they didn't ship it to me and refund my money. So I'm like, damn it. And I never like tried getting one after that again, because I was like so disappointed.
You know, I always feel like that's a cop out on the seller's part. Like they have seller's remorse, and they say, you know what? I'll tell Amazon it's broken.
Yeah, I'm like, damn it. And I was like, at the time I paid like $70 for it.
Yeah,
but I wanted one so bad.
The one I really fear, bud, is when these movies get closer. I'm afraid there's going to be like a Hot Toys version of the Hulkbuster uniform, and we already know that the Hot Toys can go for $300 to $500. So
that I definitely see them making Hot Toys for a Hulkbuster, because I know they're already coming out with the Igor one from Iron Man 3.
Yeah,
that's supposed to come out either this year, end of this year, or probably next year. I forget.
Yeah. So
there's like kind of like almost the same thing, like the basis of the Hulkbuster.
I can't even imagine, but what a 6-scale Hulkbuster.
It's huge.
It's got to be massive.
Because they already made a Hulk one. They already made a Hulk Hot Toy, and that one's huge.
And that one, I really wanted to see one of those up close, because they had done something amazing with you didn't see any of the jointing in like the elbows and stuff. In fact,
no, you don't.
I thought at first they were charging $500 and this was like a roto figure, but there's some kind of like latex over the jointing, so you don't even see it.
Yep.
Really, really cool. I got to see one of those one day up close. But back to the Avengers trailer. So what did you extract from it? What did you like? What did you not like?
Honestly, there's nothing I really can complain about. The trailer kind of like laid out how the movie's going to go. You know,
obviously, the villain's going to be Ultron.
Yeah.
Now, I assume that's going to bring Ant-Man into the fold, because there's also, no talk about it now, but we know that there's an Ant-Man film coming out.
Yeah. But they're saying that Tony Stark is the one that created Ultron.
You think they're going to change that?
Yeah.
Because in the comic book universe, and even in the animated world, right, it's Henry Pym.
Yeah. Yeah, that I know, but I think I was reading it somewhere that he what's the word? He resurrects the Ultron program, Tony Stark's.
Yeah.
And that's how I guess Ultron comes to be or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, changing that doesn't destroy it for me, because this is what Tony Stark does, right? He builds these advanced weapons. So
and I feel like that probably gives him another motive behind the Civil War movie.
Right.
Because probably Tony wants the world to be under surveillance, and he makes these army of robots. Yeah,
and then Captain America probably has this opposing view.
Yeah, like how we saw in the Captain America 2, that this is not freedom.
Right.
Holding a gun to every citizen in the world is not freedom. The famous line he says in the movie.
Right. Now, there's two versions of the trailer. There's the one that was, I think, the one that was shown at the Marvel event. Doesn't show the beginning scene that we saw with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is kind of a funny scene.
Oh, yeah, they're at a party and stuff.
Yeah, it's just kind of like the Avengers chilling out. They're all in their kind of street clothes, and they all decide, they're drinking and decide, let's see who can pick up Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
Now, one of my friends online was saying that he thought Thor looked kind of disappointed that Captain America couldn't actually pick up the hammer.
Oh, actually, I know what you're talking about. Everyone's talking about this. It's actually, he got scared.
That's what I thought.
That he almost, because you saw Captain America was able to nudge it a bit.
Right, that's
and
what I thought.
He was like, whoa.
Exactly. I thought he thought, oh, crap. He's gonna get it.
Yeah, for a moment.
He was kind of cocky there for a while because Iron Man tries, and then Iron Man and War Machine try together.
Yeah,
and he was getting a little full of himself.
Yeah, I mean, like out of everyone, because I always forget with Thor's hammer, it has to be like the most mightiest or purest, or how does it go?
Yeah, something pure of heart and all that. It's inscribed on the back of the hammer.
Yeah, so I would think Captain America would be another person that'd be able to lift it.
Right. Maybe maybe there's more to it than that. Maybe you have to actually be Asgardian.
Maybe, yeah, that's true too. But I mean, in the comics, I think I've heard other heroes being able to pull it up, like pull up the hammer.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I did like Scarlet's response that she wasn't even going to try.
I don't want to even try. It's like it's Thor's hammer; it belongs to him.
No, I think she was kind of saying that her past is so sordid that she's not worthy. There's no way she's going to be able to lift that thing up. So they put that in front of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. version, and then they went into the main part of the trailer, which is, as we said, you see the Hulkbuster armor, which is very cool. Two things that kind of struck me as strange was I was taken a little bit with Ultron's voice.
Yeah.
I give them credit, right? Because I guess the typical thing would have been to take a really kind of robotic sounding voice, right?
Yeah.
But no, they just gave it this kind of really dominant kind of human voice.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a robot at all.
And the actor, I think, is James Spade.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
The actor from Blacklist.
Yeah.
Yeah, James Spade. Am I saying his name right?
Spader, I think it might be.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always bad with these guys' actors.
That's
names.
all right. I'm bad with names too, but I do know who he is. I didn't realize that. So yeah, I mean, I was just taken a little bit with the voice because it wasn't what was typical, and that may be good. But the part that really kind of made me laugh a little was, this whole speech he's given about strings, that you guys have strings attached. I almost expected him to go into this Pinocchio thing, where he was saying, I have no strings.
That's where, they were playing the Pinocchio song.
Oh, were they?
Part. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
That went right over my head.
So you are right. It is definitely has to do with Pinocchio.
Okay. All right. I didn't realize they were using that as a metaphor. But yeah, I mean, overall, I like what I'm seeing. And I think it was a good trailer in the sense that it gave you a lot of good action shots. It showed you all the characters. But it's not giving away a lot.
Yeah, because you still don't know what's going on.
And that's what I want. I don't want to know too much. Too many trailers now in 60 seconds or 90 seconds tell me the whole movie. And it's kind of like, well, I don't need to
show you the best parts or the best jokes.
Yeah, I don't need to smack down $15 now. I've seen the film. I can fill in the blanks. So I was really happy about that. And I am looking forward to it. So that one's coming out. Is it May of 2015? This May coming up? Okay.
Yeah, next year. Definitely coming out next year. I know they were originally intended for it to be 2016.
Yeah.
But I know they were able to push it up a year.
Yep.
Which I was really excited. I know I was like so upset after Captain America. I'm like, damn, when's the Avengers movie coming out?
Yeah.
After Guardians of the Galaxy came out.
Well, I think this was the point, kind of for their own sake too, of locking down this schedule. Because we started this conversation by talking about, I do think their strategy is a little bit to scare these other companies, Sony and Fox, who have Spider-Man and stuff. So by the same token, they don't want to step on their own feet. They want to make sure that they've got a well laid out schedule, that their movies are distributed evenly. And it's even more important when you've got them intertwined the way you do. I mean...
Oh, yeah, of course.
Thor movies, Captain America movies, Avengers movies, now Guardians of the Galaxy may be pulled in, Inhumans may be pulled in. Are they going to try to squeeze in another Iron Man film? I mean, it's not it's
Oh
not
yeah, did they
totally.
oh yeah, I just totally forgot about that. Did they announce another Iron Man movie in that lineup?
No, they didn't. And part of that,
Wow.
I think, has to do with the fact that Downey's contract is up with Iron Man.
Yeah, I mean, like,
so it's an issue of him signing something, I think.
yeah. Well, I mean, like, you can kind of count Captain America: Civil War as
Right.
an Iron Man movie because he is going to be in it, obviously.
Right. So the label is going to be Captain America, but the film's probably going to be shared between the two of them.
Yeah, so I'm guessing they can kind of count that as an Iron Man movie.
Yeah,
since
and
he's going to be in it a lot.
Who knows? They may turn around and turn that into a two-parter. Maybe it's going to start as Captain America film and be continued into an Iron Man film.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. I mean, because those films really do, they're leaning on these secondary Avengers characters, to fill the seats. They're not just, when you go to see Captain America, you're obviously not just seeing Captain America. This last film we saw Nick Fury, we saw Scarlet Witch, we saw War Machine. Sorry, not War Machine, we saw Falcon, we saw War Machine in earlier Iron Man films. And same thing with Thor, although not to the same extent, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Thor hasn't had as many characters.
That is true. It's mostly just Thor and Loki.
Yeah, I mean, and this is another thing, right? I'm glad to see that they're not bringing Loki back into the Avengers film because I don't want it to get so formulaic, and I don't want to get stuck with this is our villain.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, I mean, because Loki's already been used in the Thor films. He's been used in the Avengers films. He's great in the role.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing. He's definitely a crazy breakout actor.
But we need something different as far as Avengers go, because Avengers have a lot of villains that Marvel just kind of needs to bring to the forefront. I think other franchises, Spider-Man has great villains.
Oh my God, definitely. I feel like Spider-Man and
X-Men.
Batman have the
Right,
best
Batman
villains.
has great villains. X-Men has great villains. Fantastic Four has great villains.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of villains that are kind of similar to the Avengers, but not as suffering as badly. Avengers
the only thing I
have.
see is Galactus.
Oh, they got Galactus. They got the Frightful Four. They've got. God, now they're going to escape me. The guy with the wings, Annihilus.
Oh, trust me, I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan, so I don't
Okay.
really know.
Well, they have
I know that they have Galactus. That's about it.
No, they've got a pretty good slew of villains. Now the Avengers have a bunch of villains who aren't like they got the Squadron Supreme, who's not kind of like a C-lister or a D-lister.
They're definitely a T-lister to me.
Yeah, I mean the Avengers. The problem is they got great heroes, but they've never had the best villains. So I think going this Ultron route and this Infinity War route is a good thing because it's keeping them more on this epic level.
Well, that's the thing with Marvel, especially with the movie franchise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can pull villains from anywhere.
Right.
You can pull Thanos.
Well,
for example.
provided that they're not bogged down in a contract with Fox or Sony, right?
Yeah. Or they can, yeah, exactly. You can pull people like Thanos. You can pull like other villains from other movies. I mean, other comic books.
Well, and that's what it really is. I mean, because the Infinity War isn't truly an Avengers event. It was a Marvel event.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm guessing Infinity War, obviously, everyone's going to probably be in it. Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers, Inhumans, I'll probably guess.
Yeah,
somehow,
I'm thinking,
Black Panther.
I'm thinking there's going to be some sort of... I think when they wrote these contracts, they knew what they wanted to do, and they got these actors, to sign to say, we're going to shoot footage, but it could show up in these other films.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way
to do it, be honest. You have to plan it out.
And I think they've done it well, too, because I think where there's this overlapping, you can still sit down and watch the films as an independent piece without thinking, oh, crap, I don't know what they're talking about. I didn't see this other film. Or even if you're not a fan, you're not lost. Because the fans tend to know a lot more than the average person. So you can see something and you're like, oh, I know what that is because that comes from this storyline. But whereas, somebody who's just kind of getting into it.
I mean, it's not too bad as today because we have the internet,
Well, right, but I'm talking about if you're ultra lazy, right?
Yeah.
I think that Marvel's done a good job. The films stand on their own. You can sit down and watch them and not feel like you got slighted or you didn't understand something.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's really an important part to make sure, even if you didn't see the previous movies, you understand what's going on.
And I give them a lot of credit there because there's definitely a balancing act of getting these things to intertwine yet stand alone. The one I'm really looking forward to, honestly, is Black Panther. I love that character. I love that character as he fits into the Fantastic Four universe. I would love to see something done there, but that's not going to happen. But again, like I said earlier, he is a mainstay on the Avengers, and we need to get him in there.
Oh, yeah, of course. And I feel that's why he's probably going to show up in the new Avengers film. I mean, they already have the guy cast already.
Yeah.
And when's the movie supposed to come out?
That one is slated for the end of 2017.
Yeah, so exactly. So why would they announce the actor?
So of this lineup of films that we're talking about, we got Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Infinity War, Inhumans, Doctor Strange, Thor sequel, Captain America sequel, Guardians of the Galaxy sequel. Which one are you really looking forward to?
I really like Guardians of the Galaxy, definitely.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. Mm-hmm. I never really read their comics.
Right.
But after seeing the movie, I'm like, wow, they're pretty cool. So I started reading up on them a little bit, getting a couple of story arcs and comic books and stuff in here and there.
Yeah, I mean, that film was definitely done very edgy, to appeal to a younger audience. For me, I have good expectations for that film, but I don't want to. I'm always disappointed, when I set my sights too high.
Yeah.
I honestly think some of these newer ones, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, these ones that haven't been explored yet, I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the movie, Black Panther. I'm really intrigued about that. I really want to know how they're gonna handle this movie.
I think it's going to have serious ties to the Avengers. I think that, all this stuff that we saw pre-Avengers films where the Hulk and Thor and Captain America, there was this overlap. I think they're going to have a lot of Avengers elements in that film to get people in those seats. And now the one that I'm really curious about how they're going to handle is the Inhumans, because with the Guardians of the Galaxy, where they took this kind of lighthearted, comical overtone, I don't think that's going to work for Inhumans.
Inhumans, I feel that's definitely going to be a serious movie.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think... I mean, I haven't read anything about the Inhumans, but from what I read about them a little bit, I feel like they're more of a, serious
these
type
are
of
like...
people.
They're like almost like gods. I mean, the whole mood of the Inhumans is definitely serious. There's nothing comical about it.
Yeah.
Again, for me, because it fits so much into the Fantastic Four universe, I'm interested to see how they're going to handle that. I'm afraid if it's not done right, even if it's done well, it could be boring. Because what makes those characters more interesting for me is how they fit into the Fantastic Four world. For instance, Crystal of the Inhumans has a relationship with Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
So...
but like you said,
she even sat in the Fantastic Four for a while when Sue Storm was pregnant.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. I feel when does the Inhumans come out? 2018.
2018, the end of the year. Yep.
Well, we still have 4 years.
I know.
In those 4 years, anything could happen. They could get back Fantastic Four. They could get back Spider-Man.
Right.
So I feel that's what they're doing. They're having at least giving some leadway and time to see how things happen.
How things pan out for them, yeah. I think it's going to be interesting, too, this role of Black Bolt. Do you know a lot about Black Bolt?
Yes.
He's the leader of the Inhumans, and his power is his voice.
Yeah.
To the degree that he can't even really speak because his voice is so powerful.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting role for somebody to play.
Yeah.
I really hope that they're not going to change that and say, well, he can control it,
I mean, I think they will. I think he does control it.
He whispers at best in the comic universe.
Because I was going to say, because I could have sworn, I'm trying to think, I was reading some recent story arc with, I was reading the story arc with Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
And he
was
in
Inhumans?
Yeah, he was in it. Like, it was a small part series.
Yeah.
I forgot what Marvel comic book it was, but it was a small series I was reading. I remember, and Thanos confronted Black Bolt, and he was talking to him normally.
He was.
Yeah.
That may be a recent thing. I don't think I've ever
guessing.
seen him speak.
Yeah, he was like, because I know they were arguing because Thanos showed up and he wanted to like destroy the Inhumans, blah 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 blah, and then Black Bolt was like speaking back to Thanos. I don't know, maybe he was whispering. I guess. I mean, maybe I could probably miss that part of the little dot bubble.
Yeah, you gotta look for the dotted lines around the bubble, right?
Yeah. So I gotta go check that out. But I could have sworn he was talking to him in the palace, and Thanos was like in front of him, and
yeah.
So I don't think they were whispering because like people were gathered and stuff. So
right. Well,
so maybe they changed it. I think. And then again, they change everything in movies anyway.
I hope they don't change that too much because it's such a big part of that team. He's this leader who doesn't really speak, and they have other really interesting characters too, right? They have Medusa, right? So her power is her hair, and that's kind of a great thing, I think, to be able to do with CGI and stuff, and probably my third most favorite Inhuman is going to be Lockjaw.
Oh yeah,
the dog, right?
I know everyone loves Lockjaw, so he's definitely gonna be in the movie.
Giant freaking dog with like this kind of weird thing on his forehead. I'm just really looking forward to a big Inhuman dog.
Oh yeah, I know everyone's excited, but like I said, anything could happen within the next 4 years with 10 Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. So I give a lot of leadway, and plus, they have 4 years to figure out how they're gonna handle the Human movie.
Right. It's just the nice thing is that when Marvel comes out and makes an announcement like this, there's a commitment. We know these films are coming. This isn't just like, well, we're thinking about doing this. They're actually
committing.
They've said we're doing it one way or another. This film is coming out.
And so far, like my trust in Marvel, I've enjoyed every single Marvel movie that's came out. Guardians of the Galaxy, Iron Man 1, 2, and 3, Captain America 2, even the Avengers film.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every single movie.
I don't think any of the films were terrible.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing Marvel has going for it, that none of the movies were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it could be arguments, people make these arguments all the time. Oh, this movie was bad, this movie was good. People were too harsh. I enjoyed the movie. I had fun, I
think the key is what I always say. I go in with low expectations or no expectations, because as soon as you have expectations, you're almost definitely going to be disappointed.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I always say, it's just movies, Yeah, it's escape, from reality. You just enjoy the movie. Stop being so critical.
We're all such diehard comic book fans, and
that's a problem with die-hard comic book fans. They know the source material way too much.
Well, it's established in our brains.
Yeah.
We fill in the blanks. When we're reading a two-dimensional book, we're seeing images and we're reading stories, but we're imagining voices and we're imagining who the actors are that play them and stuff. And, you do this for years. Some of us have done it for decades. You read hundreds and hundreds of issues of these books, and it is cemented in your brain, and that is the way you perceive it. So the problem is those expectations will ultimately be destroyed when you go to see a movie, because look at Wolverine. So many people say he's great. He's great in the role, but he's not a runt, right?
Yeah, I know.
He's great in the role, but there are a lot of things about it that don't fit the comic book. Well, you take the good with the bad.
Yeah, I feel Hugh Jackman's an awesome Wolverine.
Yeah.
Even though he's supposed to be a little small guy, but who cares?
That's not going to sell in Hollywood, right? We're not going to have a 5'4" guy, hairy guy running around. Women are not going to be enticed to go and see this movie.
Exactly.
I think you just go down the street and stand on the corner, and I'm sure you'll see him walk by. And he's probably got claws too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, movie material and comic book material is always going to be different.
Yeah,
movie
absolutely.
material is meant for the general audience. Comic book stuff, it's just meant for a smaller audience,
And again, this is why I enjoyed the Avengers trailer, because I think it gave you enough without really kind of giving it up. I hate seeing a trailer and then just feeling like I don't need to see the movie. I'm actually looking forward to seeing that film.
Oh, of course, I can't wait to see the scene between Iron Man and the Hulk. You know.
Yeah.
That's gonna be really, I feel like, an epic scene.
Yeah, I mean, and it makes sense too as a comic book fan, because I've said this before. The Hulk is kind of this loose cannon, right? I mean, it's kind of weird to keep him as an Avenger, because how do you control this guy?
Exactly, and I'm surprised they didn't announce any Hulk movies.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened, right? They did the 2, and they changed the actors each time, and even the third time when they got to Avengers. So
I'm surprised
they didn't really pick up on any of the continuity there.
I mean, like, I think they picked up on. I think we talked about this before. I think they picked up on continuity from 1, but just from like the scenes from it.
Right.
But yeah, of course not. Yeah, those movies don't exist in the Marvel universe, basically.
But I mean, I think there's still, when you look at the schedule of whatever it is, 7 or 8 movies that they're planning, there's room in there. There's room in there for them to put other films, and they could do the Hulk.
Yeah, and I feel like, honestly, they probably just gave up on making Hulk movies, to be honest. 'Cause I remember, like, people said, like, the Hulk is good on screen, but in small dosage.
Well, I think, too, that the Hulk is, when you've read the book, you know, all these different versions of the Hulk are what kept that book interesting. You know, when you had the Gray Hulk, you had Mr. Fix-It, which was definitely an interesting character, and you had
Red Hulk and
Smart Hulk. I think if they're gonna do a Hulk movie, they need to explore some of these elements. But maybe before they do that, we do need to get. I mean, we've gotten some of it in Avengers, but I think the biggest complaint people have had is, what is so difficult about doing a Hulk movie? I mean, this guy is kind of this Jekyll and Hyde personality. He becomes the Hulk, and he goes out and he smashes stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not that hard to do. If they would just, why screw with the Abomination? Why make him look the way they made him look in the movie? It's like with the Lizard in Spider-Man. Why not? We know the way the character's supposed to look. Why do you think you can do it better? Why do you have to change it? Just make him look like he looks in the comic book.
Yeah, I know. I was really upset with the Lizard in Amazing Spider-Man. I'm like, that's horrible. Give me the Lizard I know from the animated series. That's the Lizard I like.
And it's like the Lizard, even if the look's not exactly right, it's like he's on steroids. Why is he so massive?
Yeah. Jesus, I know. But, yeah, it's just crazy. I just feel like, you know, with all these movies coming out, they could interject another Hulk movie.
Absolutely. You know, I'm sure there's going to be others in there. There's going to be other Marvel movies, you know, directly from Marvel Studios.
I mean, I hope so. I really was looking forward to a Hulk movie, and I feel like, you know, it could happen because the Hulk goes crazy. You could tell in the trailer he goes nuts.
Yeah.
And that's why Iron Man's fighting him.
Right.
And obviously, you know, in the comic book storyline, Hulk goes crazy and they send him off to another planet.
Right, Planet Hulk.
Yeah, and that's how the entire Planet Hulk storyline comes about. Mm-hmm. You know, so they could fit Planet Hulk movie. I know everyone's speculating on that.
Well, there's an interesting crossover, right? So the Avengers send him out to Planet Hulk, and they do a movie about Planet Hulk, and you can have the Guardians of the Galaxy stumble across him.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
You know, get some cameos going there. So the plan for these 9 or so movies goes all the way to almost 2019, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I know. Oh my god, you can't believe what Marvel's doing. There's so many movies going on, and like I said, with the trailer, I know anything else you saw from the trailer that spiked your interest. I know the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. There's a scene there hanging out with Ultron.
You know what's interesting? For
I don't know if you caught that scene.
I think I did, but you know, it didn't throw me too much because Ultron does start off as an Avenger. But then again, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch actually start off as villains. I don't know if they're going to follow through with that in the movie.
I think so, because I remember from the scene, Captain America was like running around in some like fortress. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing that's where the fortress was holding Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think Ultron probably gets to them first, maybe, and that's why you see them with Ultron in this trailer.
Okay.
And then Ultron uses them against the Avengers.
Right.
And then probably towards the end of the film or middle of the film, they become part of the Avengers. You know how that usually storyline goes. Yeah.
And I think that they were smart in that they filled those roles with, at least to me, these people were unknowns.
I don't know.
They're not blockbuster stars.
No.
I mean, there's not a lot of room left for that in that film.
I think they're up and coming actor, and actress. I know the Quicksilver was in Kick-Ass 1 and 2.
Well, you're talking about Quicksilver that was in X-Men.
Well, both of them actually were in Kick-Ass.
But it's a different actor, right?
No, well, Kick-Ass was...
No, I mean, the guy playing Quicksilver in Avengers is a different actor than...
Yeah, it's a different actor.
Okay, I didn't realize that he was also from Kick-Ass.
Yeah, well, okay, so the...
That's funny.
So the Kick-Ass, the actor in the Avengers movie was Kick-Ass...
Himself,
the main character.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
I did notice in the last Kick-Ass movie how ripped he was, and I was thinking, wow, this guy's really placing himself like in this this superhero genre environment. Now he may get another role,
especially in Kick-Ass, because in the first film, he's a little skinny, and then he starts working out, and then becomes actually a decent superhero.
Right.
And then the Kick-Ass from the X-Men movie was in the first one, but he had a small role, and he was playing his best friend in the movie.
Okay.
That's why I feel like you didn't see him in the second one. They didn't bring him back for the second one. They replaced his character with somebody else or whatever. But anyway, so I think they were upcoming actors. I don't think they're much of unknowns. I know a lot of girls do like, I forget his name, Aaron Johnson.
I'm not even
so bad
sure,
with actors' names. But a lot of girls like him. And I know the other one's an Olsen twin. And she's, for some reason, she's...
It was?
Yeah. She's
God, I didn't realize that either.
Yeah,
Holy
she's the little sister.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, she's an Olsen twin. Oh, not Olsen twin, but she's like the sister or whatever, the younger one.
I guess I see the resemblance.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. She's like up and coming too, which I'm surprised. I tell everyone, like, when did she start acting? I have never seen her in any other movies.
In this film.
Yeah, I mean, I saw her.
They were coaching her as they were doing the shots.
Yeah, I mean, but she's up and coming though. Even before, she's in a couple movies that I've seen. Old Boy recently, she's in it, and then some other like low key movies. So I'm like surprised that she was in this.
But I think it was smart for them to go this route because, for one thing, it pulls in a different demographic. But also, I think if they brought in more big names, it's hard to keep this whole thing together. The money, right? I think it's
you can pay so many top actors so much money,
Yeah.
And when it becomes too much.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the way to go. And we don't need every character to shine to that level, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. And this one thing I'm really scared about was they're adding way too many people to the movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're bringing War Machine in, right? Because obviously he's in that trailer. So how many characters are they going to bring in? Technically,
there's not enough screen time for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing I'm scared about, especially in Infinity War. You have the Avenger cast and the Guardians of the Galaxy cast together. Yeah. Like, how is that? It's too many people, I feel.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of cameos. Like I said, I think they're shooting so much stuff that there's overlap, and these actors probably not even sure what film they're working for on what day.
Yeah, I probably can imagine.
We just need a shot of you saying this, and we'll superimpose your head onto the body of the character, and we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about the technology. I mean, it makes all this possible.
Yeah, I know, especially, like I said before, it's really tough before, like, especially with Green Lantern. I know it came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But I feel that's why it was so bad. It was so cheesy looking because we didn't have the technology for it yet.
Right.
And I feel like Green Lantern could be awesome. Really good movie.
Yeah, I mean, Green Lantern visually should be. It's right.
But it was bad, And I can probably imagine other superhero movies that came out beforehand that was like really god awful.
Well, I think the Fantastic Four effects. I think especially for Mr. Fantastic, I think there was so much that could have been done with that character that wasn't.
And I feel they were just limited at the time,
Yeah.
It's really tough, especially like, this comic book world with like all these crazy superpowers and stuff. Like, it's really hard to visually create that.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if I said this before, but we were talking about Henry Pym and Ant-Man, and there's always kind of like, especially now, like this pull between DC and Marvel. Because we've talked about these characters that are similar, right? So we knew that the Ant-Man movie was coming out for about a year now.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Look what happens. DC beat them to the punch with the Arrow series. Now they've introduced the Atom.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen the Atom yet, but we've seen his alter ego. So I thought that was kind of interesting because I think what happens with people who aren't diehard comic book fans and don't know all these secondary characters, however you get introduced, you know, for people who are watching Arrow, if this is the first time you're seeing this guy with this miniaturization powers, you're going to recognize DC. Oh, yeah, that's the Atom. And then when you see Ant-Man, you're going to say, oh, Marvel ripped that guy off from DC, and vice versa, right? Because however you first are exposed to the power or the character, you come to acknowledge, you give credit to that company.
Yeah, and obviously DC has to do that right now. I mean, like, they got to play a little dirty right now to catch up. They got to introduce similar characters that Marvel, I feel, is planning on introduce first.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's the only way they can probably play catch up a bit.
Right, because I guess by the same token, some people are saying that DC ripped off the Avengers Hawkeye when they came out with Arrow, right?
Yeah, but they always had, you know, Green Arrow, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Green Arrow was around long before Hawkeye.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just that Hawkeye was lucky enough to be in this blockbuster Avengers film and get full-blown exposure to the general public.
Well, I feel like it was a really smart move on DC to introduce Green Arrow, since they haven't really explored Hawkeye yet.
Well,
so they kind of like beat him to the punch, like, we have our own Bo vigilante running around first,
right, and
I
think with the success of the Hunger Games and kind of the, you know, the trendiness of this bow and arrow type thing.
Yeah, I know.
I think they thought
like
that it was a good thing.
From Walking Dead.
Right, there you go. I think they were just capitalizing on all the publicity of that.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why the bow and arrow is like the hot thing right now.
I don't understand with Arrow why they just didn't call it Green Arrow. I really don't.
Again, I think they want to avoid the cheesiness, I guess. Like how, you know, like in the Superman movie, they don't call him Superman.
Yeah.
Or like how Batman, they don't call him Batman.
I freaking hate that.
It's kind of like that, you know.
I
like
hate
the
that.
Green Arrow.
Just
Arrow.
Man. Just,
you know?
just it is what it is. Do it.
I mean, I kind of understand in a sense too. Like, I don't think even if we in the real world would be calling someone Batman.
Yeah.
You know, I think it'd be like that crazy guy with the mask. I think that's how we would call people now these days. So,
well, I think the media is really responsible for giving these sort of colorful names, and God knows the media is as powerful or more powerful than ever before. So yeah, why wouldn't these colorful names be used? You know.
Yeah. Oh,
I like the fact that the way they're working the Penguin's name in on Gotham.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it. He doesn't want it, but they're giving it to him.
That is true. Cobblepot's. Have you seen the last Gotham?
I did.
Oh my god! I had to say I missed it, but I heard it was a crazy it was a crazy episode.
That and Flash are my favorite superhero TV right now. And they're so opposite, too.
Oh, yeah. I know. I tried watching Flash. I saw a couple of episodes. It's good, but I just don't care for the actor. I mean, not the actor, but the character as much.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking to Gotham for me.
It's totally different. Gotham is very gritty. Flash is very lighthearted. But Flash, you know, like I'm saying, why didn't they call it Green Arrow? Flash is straight ahead. We've talked about this. It is the comic book. He's in the red outfit. He's called the Flash. He's Barry Allen. He's got the villains from the comic book. I mean, you can't really complain. They're giving you everything that the comic book gives you. And he's even starting, I think, to become a little bit of a smart aleck.
Yeah.
So
I've seen that in a couple episodes.
They're being true to the character. Now, it's going to be interesting. I think that I'm a little concerned about what DC has planned, you know, especially with Marvel making all these announcements. I think that they're bringing together the Justice League is not going to be nearly as graceful as Marvel's managed. Oh,
and that reminds me, too. I even know, I'm sorry to go off topic, but I know DC also announced the Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm. As a TV series.
Oh, no, it's a movie.
Oh, it's a movie, okay.
Oh, no, I think they're working on a TV series, but they're also going to do a movie, I think.
Okay.
Because I know they already cast Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
I think I've heard, I'm not sure, that Will Smith and Ryan Gosling's supposed to be in it.
Okay.
So I really feel they're really trying to, I guess, pick up pace with the Avengers and try to get big-name actors in it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that DC has had better luck with their kind of like independent, and by independent I don't mean in the traditional sense an independent film. I mean the ones that are kind of standalones. I thought that the 300 was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't totally hate Green Lantern like you did.
Yeah, no, I feel like it was good, but just the graphics, it was just
Right.
I feel like it could have done a lot better.
They had the V is for Vendetta.
Yeah.
So I think they've had more success with these films that are outside of the normal DC universe. I just don't think that the way they're trying to do Justice League now is going to be graceful. But
I just feel like they're just forcing it. I think they're just forcing it to try to catch up.
Right, exactly. But so there I go. If I keep my expectations low, then hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Well, like I said before, for myself, I'm not really a big DC fan, so
yeah.
Like I said, I fell asleep during watching Superman.
No excitement for you about Batman versus Superman?
A little bit. I do like Batman. I'm a big Batman fan, like everyone else, of course.
I like the fact that they seem to be modeling Batman after the Dark Knight version.
Yeah.
So that's kind of exciting if they do it, if they do what it looks like they're going to do. That Frank Miller story is legendary.
Oh, yeah, of course. Everyone loves that Frank Miller story. And like you said, it's probably that's where the route they're going, probably.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they need an opposite against Superman. Basically how Captain America and Iron Man is. Like, you have two opposing ideas.
Right.
And I feel that's what's going to be. Batman versus Superman, obviously, because they're versing each other.
Yeah, but that in itself, see, this is where I'm afraid it's not going to be graceful, because that in itself would have been enough to fill those seats, just even with a mediocre film. But now they're going to cram Wonder Woman into it and a bunch of other characters, and it's like, ugh.
That's what they're doing, though. Just like I said, they have the catch-ups. They have to introduce these characters on film so they can have their own spin-off movies later on.
Right.
So I feel we're going to see a lot of cameos in Batman versus Superman.
We'll see. I'm real happy. I've said it before. Really happy with DC's TV stuff. Marvel's Agents of Shields. By the way, have you heard? I know you don't watch Shield, but one of the early episodes this season, there was a flashback scene from like the World War II era.
Oh yes, I know they're doing the Peggy Carter movie. Yeah,
right. They're going to do an 8-part Peggy Carter. But that episode of Shield also had Dum Dum Dugan.
Yeah, he's going to be in it,
and a couple of those other guys. So that was really cool. Whether that series is going to be worth watching, I don't know.
Well, I feel hopefully it's a lot better. I feel I'm more excited about that.
Now, is that because it's an era piece or just?
I go with era piece. I like that era a lot. World War II, World War I, like that 1940s, 30s era.
I think that girl looks like spectacular. I think certain women just like when they make them up a certain way and dress a certain way, I think she just looks unbelievable in that era. I think she's perfect for it.
Oh yeah, she's definitely. Hopefully, Marvel needs a TV show right now. So
yeah, it's just everything they're doing is tied to the Avengers, which is kind of weird.
That's their moneymaker is the Avengers. So somehow they're gonna tie it somehow. At the end of the day,
And that brings us full circle, right? So Marvel's got this huge plan laid out for the next 4 or 5 years of all these movies that are pretty much going to revolve around the Avengers
somehow, some way.
With them introducing Doctor Strange, it will be interesting. We talked about another Hulk movie. Will they do a Defenders movie?
I would say no. I feel they have too many things going on right now. So
I also think that I would hate to see a Defenders movie, especially early on one, without Silver Surfer. And
exactly.
Obviously, he's lent out to I guess it's Fox right now.
Yeah. So exactly. So I said, we have a lot of time. Things could happen. So
yeah. I mean, Prince Namor, I think, is just kind of floating around. He can be used. But I think they need to introduce him in an epic way.
Yeah.
Right. You can't just suddenly have him there.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's again Batman vs Superman. They already cast Aquaman. So he's gonna be in the movie. So
I glanced something online that claims that there's some sort of cameo or something with Aquaman in the last Superman film. There's that scene when he drops into the water when he's got the beard and mustache, and there's supposed to be something with Aquaman, a reference in there.
Oh, I mean, I think I've seen a lot of references, I think, in the Superman movie. I think we saw, like, Lex Luthor's company in the background a couple of times. And It's probably, yeah, like you said, it's probably is a lot of references in there. So,
I mean, the Easter eggs are cool, but you know what? They need to be sort of obvious. I don't want to have to work that hard to find an Easter egg.
Well, just Google Easter eggs and there you go, you're done.
Exactly. All right, so we've been talking about the Marvel announcement for all the films that are coming out, and if you haven't heard it yet, check it out. It's all over the internet. Big plans.
Just 5 million things you could probably read up on it. Speculation on this, speculation on that. You can find millions of articles on it. Everyone's like going crazy about this.
Yeah, and the thing is, coming from Marvel, it's not just speculation, but we know that the films are actually going to be made. So that is something for fans to look forward to. If you haven't seen the trailers, definitely check out the Avengers trailer. There's the one that aired at the Marvel event, and then there's the one that aired during S.H.I.E.L.D., which has an earlier clip they show of the Avengers just trying to pick up Thor's hammer.
Yep.
And then there's also this pirated kind of Infinity War trailer.
Yeah, and I think that there's also pirated Captain America and Iron Man conversation clip, whatever, floating around.
Yeah, good luck finding that one. I haven't found it yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I watched it as fast as possible, because I know they're going to take it down.
Yeah.
But I couldn't hear anything as well, so I really didn't get much from it, to be honest.
Well, if you find that one, let me know, because I'm interested in seeing it.
Okay.
All right, so for ActionFigureKing.com, I'm John Croce. Please check out the site. It's growing all the time. Lots of products on there. You can sort it by characters, by brand, by whatever you're looking for. And this is my co-host,
Esteban from I Am Esteban TV. Just follow me on Instagram. And pretty much go Marvel. Hopefully DC catches up soon.
All right, so yeah, and check out our other podcast, Marvel vs. DC. Who's your favorite? We'll be back real soon with another edition of the podcast. Until then, take care.
Adios.